Hey there, yeah, you stop scrolling, and if you're interested in getting the LEGO Star Wars Razorcrest, wait till the end, since many people have been thinking about buying it, but you don't know whether buying the Razorcrest or another set, so I'll give my full opinion over it. So let's start. Over here we have the box art, as you can see. Over here we have Mando. It's the same style as the 2019 sets. We have Disney, the Mandalorian logo, the figs, and it's a pretty normal box to be the Razorcrest. I mean, I was hoping for amazing touches, but no, it doesn't have them. Moving to the back of the box, we can see the playability, which are the spring-loaded shooters and a place to store them. The Razorcrest, and on the back there is Navarro. So this is a Razorcrest base in Season 1, although we would have liked Mando in his Beskar armor. Over here we have the cockpit, the skate pod, and a bed for Mando. Also, we would have liked the Scout Trooper speeder bike, since I mean it appeared a lot in the last episodes from The Mandalorian in Season 1, so I don't know why LEGO didn't include that. But let's move on to the review, and first let's go to the instructions of this. So here's the instruction manual. I think it's very cool. Over here you have a QR, so you can scan it and have the instructions online, and I think it's pretty cool because compared to other sets, it includes like 3 to 4 instruction manuals, and I prefer having one that is clean so it's easier to have it and not lose one, because it had happened to me to lose the others. But I think it's a pretty decent instruction manual, and I didn't have any errors on the build, so it's a 100% guaranteed manual with no errors. So let's move on to the review. The special thing about LEGO Star Wars sets are the minifigures, and the Razorcrest, it's a little bit lacking, guys. I mean, the Mandalorian is a cool fig, but I mean, it's the same one, literally the same one as the AT-ST Raider. And I mean, we would have loved to see arm printing. Well, people complain about the Beskar, but if this one had arm printing, that would have been okay to me, so you can distinguish both Mandalorians. I mean, this is a Mandalorian from a $30 set. Well, it has Beskar, amazing arm printing. I mean, it's just a nicer fig. This is what we would have wanted for the Razorcrest. Well, we're still in the minifigure selection. Beef Karga, excellent fig. For now, this version is exclusive to the set. I would have liked to see some leg printing, although it's cool. IG-11 over here, I mean, this is a perfect figure. The only real complaint, I would say, but I mean, there's really just no solution for it, is that you can see the Mandalorian, his head rotates a lot, his arms move very quickly, and it's not comparable to the LEGO set. Over here we have a, in my opinion, perfect Scout Trooper. I mean, it's very cool, dual molded, it's literally perfect. And Grogu, which is the most expensive set you can get him in. Although, I mean, if you buy the Razorcrest, you have to get Grogu in it. And over here we have the 2 Carbonite guys who are frozen. But the only thing I do not like about them, I'm not going to complain, but I mean, it just breaks the line from Carbonite guys. Over here we have a Han Solo, and as you can see, it just breaks the line having these. They're just so different. But I mean, I just totally understand LEGO. They were not going to make the complete mold, plus the figure so you can put behind it. But it just breaks the line, guys. Even though they're not the best, and they break with the line, I think they're sufficient for the set. I mean, it would have been huge to include 2 of these, plus figure in the back. So I think it's perfect. The minifigure selection to me, that's an 8 out of 10. I mean, the real detractors are the Mando, and well, I'm not going to complain about these, but the Grief Karga and the Grief Karga and Mando are the only 2 complaints for the figs. Everything else to me, guys, it would have been perfect. Also, Quill. If Quill would have been included in the set, plus the Mando and Beskar, and leg printed Grief Karga, the minifigure selection would have nailed it and been a 10 out of 10. For now, it is a 8 out of 10 or an 8.5. I'm thinking about it, guys. But share in the comments down below, what would you think about the minifigure selection? With the Razorcrest, let's move on to the inside. The exclusive cockpit piece, you can see the interior, and over here in the back we have a place. So let's put Mando's rifle on it, since he's going to be flying the Razorcrest. And we have 2 seats over here with 1 control panel. I think it's very good, the space it has. Over here we have Mando, and you can put Grogu over here in his hand. I prefer to do it on this hand, it looks cleaner. And close the cockpit. Wow, let's move top. We have spring-loaded shooters over here. And by pressing these, they just slip off. The spring-loaded shooters are very cool. Let's move on to the escape pod over here. And you can open the hatch from the escape pod and place a figure. So let's place very quickly, Grief Karga. Close him up. It's very cool. You can see his face, and you can place him right into the Razorcrest. So moving on this side of the Razorcrest, we have a place to store your spring-loaded shooters. But now these are now placed over here, and over here we have empty space. It's a good place to store minifigure weapons since we have a lot of blasters in the set. Side we have a bed for Mando. It has stickers over there, looks very cool. But now Mando's flying the ship and arriving at Navarro. So let Grief Karga sleep. So now we're at the inside of the Razorcrest. I mean, it just looks spectacular. There's a lot of places you can place figs in the Razorcrest. I mean, to simulate you're transporting it. I mean, just simply spectacular. I just feel it a little bit too empty, but nothing to complain. Over here we have the two carbonite pieces we mentioned at the beginning. And over here is a place to stick them in. They're gonna be perfectly fine. Just close this hatch so they do not fall off. Over here we have a boarding ramp. And on the other side, we have one as well. Well, let's close these up. And these would be the only three real entrances to the Razorcrest. They're pretty cool and a bunch of places to put minifigures on the inside. With the playful Razorcrest, I would rate it a 9.5 out of 10. I just think there's like a missing detail over here. It just feels pretty empty, guys. I mean, when you open it, it's cool all the plays you have, but I just feel there's something empty. I mean, if they would have added one more detail, it would have been a 10 out of 10. But for now, I think it's a 9.5 out of 10. But let's move on to the displayability and design. Finally, moving on to the display and design category, which is people's, I would say, most requested category, since many collectors just leave the Legos in display. I'm going to give the Razorcrest an 8.5 out of 10. I just think that it has some details that could have been better. I mean, for example, if this piece wouldn't have been printed, I would have given it a 5 out of 10. I mean, just amazing piece, Lego, good job over here. Stickers on a pain in the ass. And over here, we can really note that it's just pretty big and everything. I tried 5 times to put it perfectly. And no complaints in the stickers, just over here, some slight gaps that if they would have been fixed, it would have been amazing. Over here, I just don't like seeing the technic over here in some pieces. An inverted tile could have been better, pretty good. The engines, sometimes it's weird to see like the medieval basket over here, but no complaints real in the engines. And over here, it looks good. No complaints in the engines, so just some gapping. And sometimes the Razorcrest looks messy, but overall, the thing I have to say is the Razorcrest looks bulky, it looks beefy, it's just simply spectacular, guys. I mean, this can be a centerpiece, masterpiece, however you want to call it for your collection. It's just very iconic right now, and for display purposes, it's very good. Just not the best and could have been just teeny tiny better. Moving to the value category, I'm just gonna have to say that the Razorcrest, in my opinion, is a spectacular set. Even though the figs are not perfect, the build has a little bit of flaws and just missing some details. I'm gonna give it, in my opinion, a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it's just a Razorcrest. This set is gonna go up in value like the Ghost. I just really imagine it. It's just from those series that just come out, and when they're gone, I mean, it's gonna be really expensive, guys. And it's just a spectacular set, in my opinion. Amazing display and playable set. So let's move on to the value category, where I think the Razorcrest should be a little bit, guys. Just as a reminder for the value category, I never measure a Lego set for its pieces. I measure it for its size, mass, but especially price. Price tells everything. But let's compare the Razorcrest to a set that's also $130. So over here we have the 2014 Star Destroyer, and I know this is from 7 years ago, and this you can get in 2021. But I mean, you can see the Star Destroyer is a monstrosity. It's taller, it's wider, it's longer, it has more figures, and in my opinion, better figures. But pieces don't tell everything. The Star Destroyer has like 1,359 pieces, where the Razorcrest has 123. And as I said, I just measure the sets by their price. But over here, the Star Destroyer is a much better deal. I know it's from 7 years ago. It's just a comparison, a slight comparison over here. But if, for example, you put the Razorcrest on top of the Star Destroyer, you really do see the Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyer is just too big. And if you do it the other way around, that you put the Star Destroyer over the Razor Crest, it blocks it. You can just see a slight tip of the engines. Both sets are amazing. Both are pretty cool, but the Star Destroyer is also a better deal, size-wise. And just as a reminder, guys, as I said, I measure them by mass, but I put these two sets on a scale, and the Razor Crest is nearly 1 kilogram, whereas the Star Destroyer is 1.6. I mean, it's so much heavier than the Razor Crest. You really have to see these sets in person, carry them, play with them, and know their purposes. And really, you just have to say the Razor Crest is a little bit too expensive for $130. I really do have to say that. I'm gonna give the value category an 8 out of 10. I'm just comparing it with the Star Destroyer over here. It just made me feel like the Razor Crest should be like an 110 set or an $120. 130 just seems way too expensive. I think 110 is just a little bit way too cheap, but 120. I mean, the Star Destroyer over here is just amazing, simply spectacular. But also the Razor Crest is pretty... Oh, guys, answering today's question, should you get the Razor Crest? And I'm gonna have to say yes. Amazing, 100%, go for it. I know the figs are not perfect, as well as the build, it's lacking a little bit, but it's just simply spectacular, guys. I mean, it's from The Mandalorian, it's one of the most popular sets right now. When it retires, it's gonna grow a ton in value, and whether you should think you should buy the Razor Crest, or the AT-AT, or the Millennium Falcon, or Darth Vader's castle, I would say 100% go for the Razor Crest. I just think it's a spectacular set, and although I compared it to the Star Destroyer and made the Razor Crest look like, for example, a piece of shit, it's not a piece of shit, guys. I mean, it's just amazing. The Star Destroyer was released 7 years ago, and that's why. But today's standards, the Razor Crest is amazing, guys. Go get it right now if you haven't bought it. So, guys, I'm the Lego Chooser, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!